All right, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? Uh, yeah, I didn't ask if anybody else gave up on them. I'm sure there are people that have given up on different positions, but I've gotten some questions recently about other plays that I should be talking about. And truth, right? It's true that I should be, mentioning these plays a little bit more. If I had time, I would love to continue to and mention them as much as possible, but I try to put out some videos here and there. I know that it used to be every day, right? I would talk about things like Shiba Inu, like Jasmy coin pretty much every day and, um, show my belief in them. And I still have my belief in them, right? There's some people that believe that I sold all my Jasmy coin, that's the reason why I'm not talking about it. I sold all my Chronos. I sold all my Shiba Inu, right? That's what they're thinking that I've done. And I haven't. I still hold everything, virtually everything that I've purchased because when I do believe in something, I believe in something, right? That's the difference between me and some other investors, right? I like to invest money, and I know for some to look at, Shiba Inu as an investment rather than Shiba Inu as kind of more of a little bit of a gambling play. Um, it's frowned upon, right? Because investing is, investing into something that has future potential, that has value to this world and all that stuff, which is very true. But honestly, investing has a very broad term or a very broad definition as of late, especially with all of the meme coins and people making millions or even billions of dollars from coins that have essentially no value to the world, right? No value to the economy. So I understand where people are coming from when we have these questions go back and forth, but we'll talk about that more in this video. I'll go through the different positions that I still hold and talk about those individually and why I still, believe in those plays. So if you guys could, right, we have 34 people that are here. If you could hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you can hit that subscribe button, if you are not subscribed, that's the only way that you can chat as well. So feel free to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you guys want to check out my link down below for BTCC, which is a good platform that you can leverage trade. I've been leverage trading for quite some time, and I really just started my 100K portfolio. I wanted to grow it to $100,000. Currently, is sitting at about $4,000 from a starting point of 500. So I've been able to grow it and make money and see some of these leverage trades actually go through in a positive note. So feel free to check out the link down below. If you specifically use my link, you will get a 10% deposit bonus as well as extra bonuses up to $10,055 and 40% lower trading fees. So feel free to check that out in the description as well as in the chat. So just to give you an example of some of the plays that I am positive on right now, I did put out a play yesterday. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I put out a play yesterday, not necessarily for everybody to do, just something that I was making. It was for Bohm that actually did get liquidated, so I want to let people know what happened with that. That got liquidated. It was $100. I took my loss and I'm living to fight another day. But currently, I have other plays that are in my possession. I have one for auction that is a 3x leverage, 2x leverage for Compound, a 10x leverage for Ethereum, 10x leverage for Caspa, 10x for AVAX, and then 2x for Jasmy coin. So I have some positivity in my portfolio as well as a little bit of negativity. And then seeing that loss yesterday, the trade history, if I go through, you're going to see that, I opened Boom and then, I lost the $106. I put in about 101, but I lost $106. So that does suck, but you live to fight another day. That's the one thing about trading is to be disciplined. That trade didn't work out for me, but there will be trades, there will be other trades that I can make. And this was a 20x leverage, so it was a little bit risky, and I knew that from the start. Um, and I was looking for it to get up 200 before I take my initial investment. It only got up to about $130 worth of a gain, and then it retraced. So, and that's just what the entire market did. But anyways, feel free to check out that link down below and in the chat. But if we wanted to look at where the market is, I'll go through the chat in a little bit, just to give people some time to get in here and put some chats in the put some comments in the chat. But currently, the market is sitting at a $3.92 trillion market cap. Bitcoin's dominance is back up to 60% from being down to, I think, 58 at the lowest point, which is great. Ethereum dominance is still sitting at about 12%, which is great because Ethereum is still, seeing maybe a little bit more positivity, especially when I look at my leverage trading position. It's up to $800, right? It's up 800, which is fantastic. But Bitcoin sitting at 118,000, Ethereum almost at the $4,000 mark. XRP has kind of shifted down to $315 or $315. That's crazy. That would be amazing if it did, but $3.15. $831 for BNB. We're seeing Solana sitting at about the 200 mark, $185 mark. Dogecoin also at 5% down, but 23 cents. Tron up by 5%. Some notables. Let's go ahead. Oh, we have Avalanche. That's down by 8%. Still at about a $25 price point, which is not bad. 110 for Litecoin. Shiba Inu is sitting at 0.0000. 1348, down by 5%. And many others that are in the market. If I look at my watch list, let's see some things that are moving there. Nothing really moving. Avalanche again down by 8%, but nothing really crazy. Bonk down by 7.5%. Jasmy coin is down by 5%. Beam is down by 5%. Terra Luna Classic down by 4%. So just to kind of talk about things. Again, I've gotten a lot of comments about other plays rather than XRP, right? I talk about XRP quite a bit. We all know that, right? I've seen XRP, studied XRP, have been trying to look into as much as possible with that position. But then when it comes to other plays that I've talked about in the past, a CRO, a Jasmy coin, a Shiba Inu, a Terra Luna Classic, they don't come up as much. So many people may not see those. And if you don't see them, especially when they don't get, and like when the traction on YouTube is pushing XRP videos, right, that's what they push. Even though I have 240,000 subscribers, it doesn't get pushed unless the popularity is there. So when I put out a CRO video, you might not see it. When I put out a Jasmy coin video, you might not see it. When I put out a Terra Luna Classic video, you might not see it because the popularity just isn't there on YouTube to be pushed out. So it's not necessarily a lack of trying or a lack of putting out content. It's more or less on, hey, this is not being pushed by YouTube at the moment. The popularity is in XRP or the popularity is in Jasmy coin at that moment. But I've never given up on a play. I'm going to tell you, I've never given up truly on a play. I still have Shiba Inu, I still have Terra Luna Classic, I still have Kronos, I still have what was it, Jasmy coin, I still have all of those positions. Loopring, many people that have mentioned, hey, have you given up on that? No, I haven't. I still believe in it. When I believe in something, I believe in something. And so good morning to you as well. I don't know what those positions are. Which is the next SHIB from these? From the two that you looked at? Honestly, I can't say that I know. CRO. CRO is a big play for me. I still hold over 400,000 CRO. Obviously, the growth in CRO and the sustainability in CRO right now has been really good, getting up to that 14 level and kind of holding that 14 level versus being, at where was it? At the 20 cent level. Obviously, we would love to see it back up there, or 30 or 40 or 50 cents like it was in the last bull run, and even towards the end of the last bull run, right? Or even towards the middle of the bear market, right? We saw some decent prices for CRO at those points. So I haven't given up on CRO. If we wanted to look at my balance of CRO on Coinbase, this is not my total balance, but it is my um, $10 a day balance, right? I invested for over 500 days, $10 per day in CRO, and this is how much I've been able to gain from that. Now I am up $2,000 ish, $2,500 on this alone because I've been able to, acquire that over time, and my cost basis is 10 cents on this specifically. I do have a higher cost basis on my main CRO that's over on crypto.com, and some that's being, or I guess not most of it, I guess, that's being staked and held for more of the long term. And this is definitely, I'm thinking more of the shorter term reaction. When it gets to $1, I can profit $50,000 off of it. Well, $45,000 off of it. I invested $10 a day for 500 days. And again, this is where I stand currently, which I have not given up on it, will not give up on it. I understand that CRO has so much potential. And make sure the audio is good. Wait, what camera did I go to? Make sure the audio is good on this. Please let me know if I think we're good. People would have said something if that was the case. But we have 45 people here, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Get me up to 45 likes. I know it's not a crazy amount of people, but any people that are here, chatting with me is always a good thing. My problem with Jasmy is that they aren't talking. There's too many other options that are like guaranteed players. We haven't nothing. Don't know nothing about Jasmy. I realize partnerships exist, but what's the deal? I mean, that's just their. Um, I don't really know how to classify it. Like, I wouldn't say that's their strategy, but that's the way that they roll. That's the way that they move. Is they don't talk much. They walk the walk rather than talk the talk, and that's kind of a little bit of a problem, right? Because crypto, like I've said in my last video that only got 400 views, um, was that popularity beats utility. And not saying that we should care about popularity more than utility. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if something is popular, then it goes so much further than if something just had utility, right? Something can have the best utility in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to take off, right? The ones that really give you a lot of value are the ones that kind of marry the two, right? That give you a ton of popularity and a ton of utility, i.e., an XRP, right? A ton of utility, a ton of popularity. When you have something that has a ton of popularity but no utility, an example, a SHIB, you still have that popularity, you still have that movement and the rise in the price, right? Because the popularity really runs everything as of right now. You will have a utility bull run, and I think that's what we're kind of leaning into. But popularity still rules everything. Um, so I 100% agree with you that they don't talk as much or say what's going on or say how they feel about things or just give you an update on what they're looking to do. Yeah, I mean that's a huge problem with Jasmy Coin is the fact that they don't talk. But again, they just try and walk the walk, which is fine as well, as long as word of mouth is getting out from other people like me or other YouTubers or experts that are seeing Jasmy Coin thrive and asking questions as to what's happening with it, right? Then you start answering questions, and then you start having Jasmy Coin in the news a little bit more, right? Jasmy Coin ran the last time not because it had the biggest news in the world, right? It's because you have go to a level of let's say 1 cent, 1.5 cents. People are talking about it. People are believing in it. You see more holders, and then it just compounds, right? Compound conversations, compound growth, and that's why you get up to a level of 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents, and so on and so forth. Not necessarily because anybody within uh, development teams and partnerships are talking about that there. It's because of us, honestly, the community that's building it and driving it up. Which again, still big fan of Jasmy coin. Still have 1 million Jasmy coin, and I put 100,000 to the side that I don't plan on doing anything with because I want to see what it ends up being, in the end. All right, so I started the poll. Make sure you answer that poll in the chat. All right. Kronos, on the other hand, we rocking CRO. Gonna do great, and two of these people are actually in the open talking about what's going on. Jasmy needs to get going here. Yeah, very true. Almost better off moving it. No, I mean moving your Jasmy coin, or I'm not quite understanding. I never suggest, and I don't know if that's the case with this comment, but I never suggest that you move one position to the other, right? If you believe in something, you believe in it, and let it run whatever course you believe it's going to run. Now, if it has run the course that you believe that it was going to run, then feel free to react however you want to react. But I'm not a big fan of taking one position and kind of selling it for the other. That's just not me. Morning, everybody. This is a time to average down. Very true. We are seeing that the markets are looking a little bit negative today, which is okay, right? Especially after what we've seen, seeing some altcoins that are making some big moves. You know, that's what we that's what we want, right? And in order for RSI to reset, fear and greed to reset, and see more and more success, more and more growth, you need to have some form of retracement, right? Um, I've seen it plenty of times in many positions in many markets as well. Thoughts on electronium? I don't know what that is. Any news about Momo or Doge? No. So I haven't. I don't know about those. I haven't looked into those. Good morning, Swamp Donkey Crypto. Thank you for being here. What's the news about Luna Mac? There's not any news going on with Terra Luna Classic as far as I know. I'm sure there's some back and forth and some conversations that are happening, but nothing that's huge that's saying like, oh, these exchange are establishing burns, or we're seeing a reverse split actually established, or we have um, newer partners or anything, like nothing like huge news. I expect all the news, the attention, the hype to really come from when we see altcoin season truly thrive and money is flowing from Bitcoin, from higher tier coins into the rest of the market. And then you'll start to see more and more conversations that are coming up related to Terra Luna Classic and different burns and different forms of utility and adoption and all of that stuff. But yeah, Jasmine is silent but deadly. It is very, very true. I 100% agree with that. That's why I always say like certain plays can be sleeping giants because we've seen the reaction. But because we don't see the reaction now, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's dead, it's over, and it'll never come back." But we've seen Terra Luna Classic, come back from crazy levels. We've seen Jasmy coin come back to crazy levels, right? And see a 100, 200, 500% increase. But people only believe what they see, right? And sometimes they only see what is in front of their face. And what's in front of their face is none of that history. It's only about what it's done in the past month, what it's done in the past day. And it's like, if it's not moving right now, it's dead to them. And that's not the mindset you want to have, right? I understand what Jasmy coin can do and what it has done, right? And I guess what it can do based on what it has done. And that is just like a small glimpse of what Jasmy coin can do. Terra Luna Classic, a small glimpse of what that position can do. So I'm hyped for when we actually see those things move. And, you know, I guess a lot of the doubters, and maybe they're not full doubters, right? They just only have tunnel vision. A lot of the doubters will go, I should have held on to it. I sold my Terra Luna Classic because I believed in something else. But that's what people do. Many people that tend to fail in the markets is, they go into one position and they're like, I believe in this. They hold on to it for what they believe is a long time. It might be a year. It might be 2 years. It could be 3 years, right? It could be a longer time where they hold on to it and they're like, look, it's dead. It's not coming back. It hasn't made moves. But in reality, within those 3 years, if you look at everything that has happened and all the levels that it hit and all of your unrealized gains that you had, you reach some of these highs. You reach some of these lows. You reach some of these highs again. And you should be looking at that and going, I understand the potential. And once it reaches that full potential, it's going to be worth so much more, right? And my portfolio is going to be worth so much more. So I think a lot of people miss that, where they decide to have a short-term mindset. You can't have that in the stock market, and you can't have that in the crypto market, right? If you're looking to be a part of a speculative market, something that can provide change, something that can provide value in places that people didn't believe that you could have that value in. If you're looking for that, you need to give it time to mature. That's just how that goes. And again, that could just be my opinion, but in history, that's how it has worked. Even if you're looking for those get rich quick type of situations, Shiba Inu, you would have needed time, right? Not a crazy amount of time, but you would have needed time. There were people that bought Shiba Inu in the beginning, saw the growth, right? Saw it at $10,000, $20,000, decided to sell it at those moments. However, they look back on it and they're like, if I would have just held that for 5 more months, sorry, if I would have held that for 5 more months, I would have been a multi-millionaire, right? That's the type of, I guess, motivation that you want to have. That's the type of position that you want to look at and go, okay, even a meme coin needed time to mature, right? Yes, it didn't fully mature, and you could see it go to way higher levels this bull run, this altcoin season, but you had the chance to make hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars from a coin that potentially didn't have any real world value, or essentially didn't have any real world value. um, I was a million a lunar back in 2018 and didn't know it. If you want, but I think it's a winner. I'll have to give it some time here at some point, but right now, not. I'm not going to look into that at the moment. Good morning from the Netherlands. Question for you: what do you think will be effects on crypto market on a tariff deal that Trump made um, EU possible in Great Britain? So I have no details to that. I'll be honest. I have no details to that, but I do Um, one, appreciate the comment, and honestly, I should have more insight to the broader crypto market rather than just like what's affecting me, what's affecting my portfolio. But essentially, that's what investors do, right? You care about the positions that you're investing into, and if you care about a certain sector, you start researching that sector to invest into that sector. So honestly, I don't know. Um, I guess it really depends on the reaction. The effects depend on the reaction by people, because that's all you look at when it comes to the markets in general, is how they react to certain things. There have been positive, majorly positive, what should have been positive, news that you have a positive reaction on in the crypto market. However, you tend to see the opposite, right? Um, one big thing, or one big reaction that we've had that was the opposite, was Ethereum ETFs, and seeing how that should have been positive towards the crypto market. However, Ethereum dropped all the way down to like $2,000 or even less than that. Like it dropped pretty far. How much Lunic do you own? I have 54 million, I want to say. Yeah. So my current Terra Luna Classic I have on Kraken is worth 54, or it's worth $3,347, but I have 54.2 million Terra Luna Classic. If you wanted to go through some of the positions that we've talked about here today, Shiba Inu. I hold 93 million, 93.5 million, worth about $1,200. It says unrealized return as $471. That is not true. I invested $2,000 into it at that moment, so it was at a higher price. But I have about 100 million Shiba Inu. We'll see how far that goes. Kronos, again, 50,000 that's sitting on Coinbase. I have like 400,000 that's sitting on crypto.com. Jasmy coin, I have 900,000. I have 100,000 that's sitting in a forever wallet, forever position. But I'm still up 334% on this play, specifically from my cost basis of 39% of a penny. Just to give you an understanding, right? I have all of these positions. I look at my portfolio and I see it all the time. Ones that are negative, there's a lot that are positive now, but ones that are negative that I've held on for what some might say is too long. I believe in something. I truly believe in something, right? I'm going to continue to hold it and believe in that and talk about it and research it and all of that stuff. um, is Binance still burning Lunic? I believe so. I haven't actually done any type of update on that to see, because I would typically go month by month and talk about the burns that are happening there. But what the heck? Um, let me go into Lunic burn. I believe they are still happening. But it's crazy that, we've seen them burn even for this long. You know what I mean? So let's see, let me go top burner, go to Binance. And the last burn that they did was on the first, which was 375 million Terra Luna Classic. So, yes, they still are burning, but obviously it's not as much because we're not seeing as much volume that's going into it. I wish that we had all exchanges that were doing the same thing. Terra Luna Classic would be at such a higher level value wise. And then also, I think the main reason, and I've said this, the main reason why other exchanges aren't burning Terra Luna Classic is because the community doesn't have a plan. If the community had a plan, if we decided that we were going to see Terra Luna Classic burn just to be able to establish or reestablish the algorithm, restore the algorithm, and restore USTC to the $1 peg, and find a better way to support it. If we had a full plan to break down how that happens with the burns associated with it, it gives a reason for them to decide to burn it. Because at the moment, right, if they go, oh, I want to burn, we're burning Terra Luna Classic, and they're giving away what is essentially their fees, just like Binance is, or they're doing something to lower the amount of Terra Luna Classic that they have on their platform, they're devaluing what they're holding, right? Yes, they're bringing the value up by essentially taking supply off, but you're also taking supply away from your platform because you're holding a certain amount in your hot wallet, right? So if we had a full plan to break down how burning affects us in the end for a utility purpose rather than for just a financial gain, it's a whole different story. Yes, we all want a financial gain from it. And if we decided to see, burns that are happening, and if we go through these exchanges and we decide to sell it and we see burns that are going on, we're also seeing our growth, right? We should see it go to a level of a penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies, $1, $2, $3. And as you're holding millions of Terra Luna Classic, that could potentially be worth millions of dollars. But it's not just about the gain itself, because if that's the case, once it gets to $1, everybody sells. Now what's Terra Luna Classic? Well, it's not as valuable because it's not going to give you that same level of performance. So um but yeah, I have a lot of Jasmy. You have a lot of Jasmy. How much Jasmy coin do you have? um Hi Perry, you have you have good content. I've been following you for years. I have millions of Jasmy coin, and I'm not going to sell them thanks to you. Thanks. Well, what's your cost basis on that Jasmy coin? Um, do you have like a lower cost basis, like below a like 1 cent, or have you been just gathering like nonstop, whether it's at 2 cents, 3 cents, 6 cents? Will Suncat be the next Bobcat? I don't know. I would say no. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be whatever it is. Don't answer me. Please don't ignore. It hurts. Yeah, I'm not ignoring it. I just don't. I don't want to look into every little thing. I've gotten so many. I absolutely, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but I really don't understand what's up with these spam and scam comments. For the last couple of, um, I guess months, I've been doing a good job with keeping them off, but it's so difficult because I'm I have to go through hundreds of these spam comments, even though they haven't been approved. I have to go through hundreds of these spam comments and then only approve the ones that are not, right? It would make it easier if I just go through a list of subscribers and then just approve those comments and then go with that. Because it's easier to do, like if I go on, like I'm on a live stream right now, subscribers only chat. Why can't it be a subscribers only comment section? Like, I understand how you want others to comment that aren't subscribed to give you, feedback and whatnot. But when it comes to scamming and spamming and all that stuff, I mean, it's the best way to go about it. Yes, they can become subscribed, and then you have newer subscribers that are technically bots and fake subscribers. Um, but it helps me weed out some of the or all of the scam comments and spam comments. Bro, what do you think about Modang? I don't know what that is. I was dollar cost averaging. Well, what's your cost basis? You said XRP is trash. I mean, that's your opinion. XRP Larson and Brad are dumping their tokens on Coinbase. if you think that if you think that Brad Garlinghouse is going to give up on XRP in totality on something that is worth $200 billion at the moment, for you to say something that's worth $200 billion is trash in the market is just absolutely crazy, and it makes me, um, it gives me clarity about what you invest into and who you are, I guess. So it's fine. It's totally fine. It's worth $200 billion, and they're like it's trash. What do you invest into? Something that's worth $100,000? Something that's worth $1 million? Like, it's crazy. Come on. It's fine. You invest into Pepe because that's all. Pepe is a good meme coin, but if you're talking about projects that actually have utility that can go so much further, right, than just going to a certain price point, you're talking about things like a Bitcoin, like an Ethereum, like an XRP, like a BNB, like many of those. So it's that's crazy. It's sad that people fall for it's sad to see. I don't even know if you're like at this point when you see $200 billion market cap and you say things like that, I feel like it's just for a reaction. I feel like that has to be it. Will block be legit? I hope so. From what I understand, they're like being able to have their mining tools and um be able to make money from mining itself. Like obviously that's a big deal. I feel like mining might be going out the window in a way where um you have less value in a lot of those projects depending on what type of mining you have. But I don't know. I hope so. Pepe does nothing and destroyed XRP. Destroyed XRP how? It's sitting at a $5 billion market cap, which is fantastic for a meme coin. And obviously, you're going to see some more success, and I believe in Pepe to be worth a lot more. But once it gets to a certain point, what is Pepe compared to anything else that actually has utility? It's not anything. So people are going to kind of sell that. You're going to see the fluctuation because it is a top meme coin and will always be honestly a top meme coin for nostalgia reasons and everything like that. But I feel as though when and again, this is all my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. I feel as though when you have a meme coin, you get to a certain price, they sell at that price. People don't believe in it as much, and then you have the second wave, the third wave, the fourth wave. But it is just a meme coin at heart, right? That's all it is. um, Being with you since 2021, my XRP is up. New discovery prices now. Boom. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. We invested into it. I invested into it at 39 cents, at 50 cents, at 52 cents, then invested into it at a dollar plus, a dollar 50 or something. Got my cost basis up. I increased my cost basis to a dollar 22. It increased to $2 and $3 and $3.40 and $3.60. It's going to go to $3.80. It's going to go to $4, $5, $10, $20, and people are just going to continue to say things like this Pepe person that's saying whatever they're saying. Um, it's okay. You're never going to get away from them, no matter what, and they're going to believe what they believe and never go back. Right? Whether someone could literally go could have a duck in front of you and go, "This is a duck," and you will be that person to be like, "No, it's a horse," and you will live your entire life believing that duck is a horse. And I don't really know what you're going to be able to gain from that, but you're going to be able you're going to live your entire life thinking that that duck is a horse. maybe it's not the maybe it's not the best analogy, but it's true. You're gonna believe that XRP is nothing, even when it's showing you that it's something. Literally telling you that it's worth hundreds of billions of dollars and is going to be worth trillions of dollars, and you're just gonna be standing there like, nope, Brad Garlinghouse is scamming all you guys. Oh, he's scamming. I just realized, $500,000 and he's scamming me. How did he scam? I only put in, $20,000 into this, and now he's scamming me somehow when I already took profit. I I don't know how that works because he's selling some XRP. You understand that they still have roughly what 40 roughly 40 billion coins left in escrow. Like, we understand that those are going to be sold, those are going to be introduced to the market. That's something that we've fully prepared our brains for. There's nothing, no banks used it. That's not true. It's so sad to see people fall for Brad's lies and just saying don't be upset when XRP falls out of the top 10. Trust me, I won't be upset. One, because it won't happen, and two, because I live out the potential of my investments. I'm not one of those people that doesn't live out the potential of their investment. Serious question. USDC is now doing all payments on there. There's stable coins with zero fees. Will this affect XRP or XRL? No. No, because you still have the speed. When you talk about using stable coins, it's great to have the ability to utilize stable coins, but you're also subject to the the metrics, or subject to their abilities, right? So if we know XRP can happen within seconds based on the XRP ledger, as well as popularity, as well as just a connection. Because while you do see many others and many other connections, many other abilities to utilize stablecoins in many different ways, XRP will be the best method for this, and maybe USDC will be the best method for this and something, right? Maybe even utilizing something else like a Solana will be the best method for this, right? So you have to look at it kind of that way, but I don't think it'll have any type of an effect, any type of major effect at that. But ultimately, I would love XRP to become the world currency and be used for everything and have the ability to use it for everything. But honestly, you're not going to have everybody that holds or uses XRP and they end up holding or using something else just because of what they know. But eventually, you'll see majority of that larger communication, or larger transactions come from the XRPL. Um, $6 is the top watch. Is the top watch, and that's why XRP is still in court. I just realized that the star next to my name is now purple. I've been following you for a long while. Keep it up. Thank you for one, being a member, two, following, and hopefully you have your own strategy going into trading crypto, and believing in crypto, and having your own ones that you believe in for different utility purposes. Even the ones that aren't for utility and more for just maybe quicker gains that are kind of meme coins and whatnot. I want to know that you have your own strategy and what you decide to invest into. It's always great to have the same things though, because then you can have something in common when you when you talk about why you believe that these are going to this level and that level and all that. So I appreciate you for being here and being a member for that long. You know, you don't. It's like when you sorry, I have like issue every time I eat in the morning and then I jump right on here. That's what happens. Um, but yeah, you don't have. They say you don't have like friends for a long time. Like you may have one or two friends in your lifetime. Like the fact that you have a member. Or we have you here that's been here for a long time. That's been a part of this channel and supported everything I've done. I appreciate it. I really do, because we don't have many members that are left in the chat, right? At least right now, especially what we're talking about. If we were talking about XRP, we might have more people in the chat, but it really all depends on what you talk about. But I do appreciate you being here. My cost factor is $1.87, holding through the last bear run. You mean the bull run? Great times ahead. I hope so. Wait, what? You're $1.87. What are you talking about there? XRP? Okay, yeah. Been with you since 2021. My XRP is up at Discovery. Okay, so you're at $1.87, and so you put majority of your money and continue to dollar cost average in at a little bit higher prices, because it was like a year ago that this really took off. Um, Maybe a little bit longer than that. I don't know. It seems like time all it flies and it blends together. Meme coins are taking over, so when I'm right, you will say next. What? When I'm right, what will you say next? Look, first of all, I have Pepe in my possession, but I only have it until a certain point, right? I have price levels, and I have other meme coins as well. But meme coins are not going to take over when it comes to the actual utility in cryptocurrency. That's not going to happen. 1000% not going to happen. However, popularity does exist, and I think that they will have a lot of popularity, and you will have a Dogecoin, you will have a Shiba Inu, you will have a Pepe that finds a lot of success in the market and hold some of that success. And I say some of it because I don't think they'll hold all of it, right? It is a meme coin at heart, meaning that community is investing for one specific purpose, and that is to make money. It's not for to hold, to use, to stake and find value out of. It's not for that, and it never will be for that. So you will have runs, and you will have people that are making money, and it will be at certain prices. So as it does get up to whatever the peak point will be for these meme coins, maybe it could be $200 million or $200 billion worth of a market cap. If that is the peak point, you will have different bull markets that are that's a stair step, and not a stair step on the way up, a stair step on the way down. So Shiba Inu could go up to a $200 billion market cap, right? If it gets up to a $200 billion market cap, the next time you see it at a high price, right, it's going to create a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, until it gets to a point to where it is flat and people are reacting in more of a kind of a consolidated area, right? Not saying that they won't be able to make money. People will make money, but it will be consolidation points rather than the large spikes that we've seen in the past and in current days. So meme coins will have potential, will push. That's why I still hold some, or still hold most of them, but they are never going to take over, ever. I can say that very, very confidently, and I'm not a person that tries to use absolutes in any situation. Really, I don't. And this is that one situation where I'm like, I 100% believe that meme coins will not take over the market. Um, what do you think about the fact that Jasmy supply has increased by almost 10 times since the last bull run? So, for Jasmy coin, they started out with a low supply. Some coins start out with a low supply and then they add those coins as time goes on, basically for a lot of development reasons and everything. And that's basically what Jasmy coin has done. Now, Jasmy coin has had the hype and potential and, community that it has kind of now since the beginning. Now you have a lot of people that are like, what's going to be next, and they're looking for more of a gain out of it than anything. But uh, it's had the push. It's had a 10% volume to market cap ratio to 30% volume to market cap ratio from the beginning. Since I first saw it, there were many people that were like, Jasmy coin is the next thing, and that was when it was at like $4 or something. And as it continued to decrease, I knew that the supply would be the problem. So I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited until all of the supply was introduced, or majority of it. And it got to 93% of the supply. And I decided that that's where I would invest because I knew that there would be no forms of dilution and it would be all growth and all push based on the volume, right? Based on the popularity. And that popularity was still there. So that's why I decided to invest into it. Now, with all of that being said, now you have the ability to grow without the worry of dilution. If anything, you have more of a positive because you could see some of that supply come off, especially with their, the natural way of doing things and seeing businesses hold Jasmy coin and create it more like a um, kind of a staking pool in a way where it's removed from circulation, and even if it's not the way you're seeing it removed from circulation, it just hasn't moved, so it's going to create holdability to it, kind of like a CRO, and how they you stake a lot of CRO, you see a bare minimum of volume, and CRO runs by 2-3 cents or whatever, gets to a $5 billion market cap, $6 billion market cap, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of for me, was a no brainer because it has the popularity, it has no dilution worries, and you could also potentially see a decrease in that supply, increasing the value of Jasmy coin in the end. So I don't think anything of it. I've seen coins that do this. Um, Usually it's not that fast. From what I understand, it was like a year maybe that we saw it go from like 4% supply to like 93%. um, but that's always something that worries me, is the dilution of something. So if you have a max supply, once you hit that max supply, it now becomes valuable to me. Try small caps like DGen Arena and Gaming Narrative. Matthew, at what price do you take profit from XRP? So I have multiple profit taking levels. Let me exit here really quick. I have multiple profit taking levels, and let me go over to my um, what could be my exit plan. My starting point, and I've made this clear, my starting point for taking profit from it, because I love to take my initial investment, even though I believe in it so much further, I just want to sit on that initial investment and make it realized, right? Make something, some sort of profit realized, as well as my initial investment back in my bank account. But then I also want to see the the generated success and the growth there, to know that, one, I can never lose money on this play, and I don't think I ever will, even if I didn't sell it or didn't sell some of it. But I have to find a way to take my initial investment, and that's my strategy. That's how I've always run well, not always. That's how I've recently run a lot of my investments, cryptocurrency, the stock market, leverage trading. I want to get into real estate as well. I want to make sure I collect and establish my initial investment, bring back my initial investment, give me a little bit of profit, and then kind of invest and save with the gravy that's left. But if I wanted to show you guys, I have this exit plan strategy, right? The exit plan spreadsheets that I make, which has many different cryptocurrencies. A lot of the cryptocurrencies that I own, some that I don't, that other people ask me to make. But if you look at XRP, my initial selling point for my initial investment as well as my profit is $5, which is not too far away from where we are, and it's not a ridiculous market cap in any way. It is a solid market cap. It's not going to be 100% that I sell. It is going to be 25% of my entire portfolio. That's a lie. 25% of my shorter term portfolio, if that makes sense. My forever portfolio will always sit there. I don't plan on touching that ever. And when I say I don't plan on touching it ever, if it gets to a value of $10,000 per coin, then I may end up touching it at that point. But the point is that I don't plan on touching it. I mean, the plan is to utilize this the entire time, and it's going to start at a level of $5, where I take $250,000 and whatever that ends up working out to be tax wise, we'll go through that when we come to it. But that should get me my initial investment of 150,000, and then also help me profit a good 100,000. However, I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that because I'm gonna pay taxes on the gains from the 50,000, not necessarily from the overall thing. I wish it was from the overall, especially since it's on Coinbase. But yeah, that's my first selling point, $5. My second selling point, obviously, as we move forward, it will be less than 50,000. It'll be like 2,000. So like if I wanted to sell $2,000 worth of or 2,000 XRP, it would be $11,000, and then just continue to kind of take bits and pieces from there as we get all the way up to $100, which if I decided to hold everything that's there, my 148, it would be worth 14.8 million. But I won't have that much at $100 because at certain price points I will take a little bit more, but I've broken that down. I just don't have it broken down here. So to answer your question, when am I selling XRP? The first point is $5. But then as I see maybe some retracements, know that there's always retracements. This is something that I haven't worked into my plan 100% because it's very difficult to do. But if you see it retrace from certain levels pretty strongly, because like if I get to a level of $5, right, and I decide to take my initial investment plus profit, and all of a sudden the market, it comes back down and it drops down to $3. Probably going to reinvest like 10 into 10,000 XRP, just because it's going to get me that 10,000 XRP for a cheaper price than what I've gotten it for. And then, I can see that success moving forward. So it depends on what happens, right? How strong the retracement is. If the retracement is 25% or 30%, then I could end up reinvesting after I take some profit from it. Especially in later times, I might have to just keep the initial investment and then do that with later investments. So as it gets to $6, then let's say I take 2,000 or 5,000 XRP, and then it decides to retrace to $3. Well, then I want to try and reinvest and get 5,000 XRP for a cheaper price. So that I can kind of get that 5,000 XRP again. So hopefully that makes sense. no clue what you're talking about, buddy. Delete your account. I don't know about that. I mean, there's certain things. Everybody specializes in certain areas. They feel great about what they invest into, and that's perfectly fine with me. Uh, I just hate when people say that a certain position is garbage and you'll never see any success, um, because you could say I don't like that position and I don't think it'll be worth a lot. Okay, these are the reasons why. All right, but to go it's trash and everybody's lying to you and all, like, it's ridiculous. Can XRP reach $100? I believe it can. I believe I believe $100 is the most um I don't know how to classify this. Like, let's say absurd reachable level that we could see in XRP, right? Because it's worth, it could be worth trillions of dollars. We're talking about at the current stage of 59 billion coins. A $100 price point is $5.9 trillion. $5.9 trillion, which is an absurd level for people to accept right now because of the fact that Bitcoin only reached a 2.5 trillion dollar level, or 2.4 trillion dollar level. So to say that XRP is going to be worth more than double that, almost triple that value, to say that this position that is currently worth $200 billion is going to be worth 5.9 trillion is kind of absurd. However, with all the use cases and conversations, and we look at government adoption, Fed adoption. Like, we look at the different pieces that it could be implemented into, and we're just like, well, we could accept $1 trillion, we could accept $2 trillion, but they don't know if they can accept $5 or $6 trillion, and I think we can, and I think it will. Um, but again, it's just my opinion, and it may be some other people's opinion. But then you also look at the people that think or talk about market cap not mattering. I think in the long run, yes. Um, Looking at market cap and how XRP could be kind of in its own class, in its own area here, where you may not even want to include it in the overall crypto market because it's that absurd when it comes to the market cap. But I think a realistic high level for XRP is $100. Um, Majority of what I own will be off the table at $100, but I still will have a decent amount left over from 100 to 1,000, from 1,000 to 10,000. But it's not going to be 200,000 XRP. It's not. Very, very honest with that. Um, Meme coins will run, but no one really wants to hold them. I agree with that. I don't think it's nobody really wants to hold them. That's the key word, is hold. It's not saying that nobody wants to have them. Nobody wants to hold them. You're not gonna have that and say this is gonna be the next Amazon or something like that, right? Or this is gonna be the next Bitcoin. No, it's a meme coin. It's based off of popularity and it has no other value to it. Not to frown upon meme coins, because I'm a fan of meme coins and I think you can gain a lot of value from it, but you have to understand when to accept that value versus holding on to it forever and going, well, it's going to get to $1 in the next 10 years. In the next 10 years, you might not have the same level of popularity that you do now. And I'm not saying, and and I say might very timidly, right? Hopefully I'm using that word right. I've, um, where I don't I don't believe that it will have that same level of value, and I think it will um, be worth less, not worthless, but worth less than where it is now. Don't worry, opinions is in this sector change periodically. XRP was a dirty word 3 years ago on YouTube. Now look, Um, just do your own thing and for your own reasons. I agree with you. That's probably the smartest thing that's been said. No offense in this comment section, right? Uh, the opinions that people have will change and have changed. My opinion of XRP has changed. Now, I looked at it. I never looked at it as a bad position. I never looked at it as something that you will lose money on no matter what. I looked at it as a day tradable position in the beginning. Right, I was a huge fan of finding plays that moved aggressively so that you can make money from the bottom to the top, or from the top to the bottom. Um, and that's kind of what I saw for XRP until I decided to research it more. Because while anytime I mention XRP, people would bring up the lawsuit, it's going to be labeled as an unregistered security. And many of those conversations um, kind of shifted over to other projects that I was talking about, whether it's Shiba Inu or whether it's Terra Luna Classic or whatever, right? It always shifted over to these other plays. And it never left it. But I always looked at it as um, a day tradable position because of the fluctuation, because of the movement, and because of the money that I made short term with it. But then as I did my research, as I looked into it and kind of heard both sides of it, it made me feel better about XRP. And I was like, you know what? This might be worth a lot more than people think. So I invested in at 39 cents. I had almost 2,000 XRP. I said, you know what? I'm good with that, and I don't need any more of it because it can go to a much higher price. But then as I continued, I was like, I should probably buy more XRP and continue to buy more XRP. While there was many people that still said, hey, this is not it. It's not a good play. Buy something else. Buy Ethereum. Um, which wouldn't have been a bad option to buy Ethereum, but it wouldn't have run as much as XRP or Jasmy coin or something. So don't let people talk you out of the plays that you're going to make that you believe in. Believe in them. Do your research into them. Make sure you keep an open mind. Um, but if you invest into something and you believed into something, don't let someone else talk you out of it. Someone is salty they missed XRP at 50 cents. Cry more, Pepe. Yeah. I've been dollar cost averaging in a number of top 20 coins. Thank you for all the work you have done over the years. It has been helpful. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Again, I want to clarify the fact that um, if you guys
donated $2 through Super Chat.
thank you for that.
Blessings, Matt. Thanks for the crow support.
Okay, they said blessings, Matt. Thanks. I thought I had my desktop audio on, but they said blessings, Matt. Thanks for the crow support. No problem. I mean, like I was just about to say, right? That's all it is, really, is support, information, and to tell you about what I'm doing with my investments. Um, and the idea of having a second opinion goes a long way. Having a third opinion goes a long way. And I want you guys to give yourselves credit for what you have done. If you've made money in the crypto market, don't think it's because of anybody else that you made money, right? You decided to make that investment in the end, right? It's ultimately your decision. And I'm happy that you've been able to, make money from the crypto market, but don't give me the credit, right? I don't want that, um, because a second opinion is just that, right? It gives you that clarity to say, okay, somebody else believes that this is also going to have some success, but this is how much I want to invest. This is where I want to invest. You did all of the heavy lifting. All I'm doing is just maybe opening eyeballs to certain plays. And if I say this is what's happening in CRO, this, and this, you're like, all right, I want to buy it. But then you end up buying it here, and you're like, it starts to go down, you don't give up on it. Your mindset decides to continue to either dollar cost average in or continue to hold it. And then you see and let it live out its, um, its value and its story, and you're able to profit off of it. So I want you guys to give yourselves credit um, for making that investment and for um, believing in it. Because it's one thing to I teach people all the time where I'm trying to tell them how to invest, how to create a strategy, all that stuff. But they're always asking me, like, why can't I make the same profits that you make in leverage trading? Or why can't I make the same profits that you make in just buying cryptocurrency outright? And what they don't understand, which I tell them, but what they don't understand is the fact that when I'm buying cryptocurrency outright, there's a lot of times that I'm negative for a very long time. I'm negative for such a long time until I'm not, right? So I invest into a play because I believe in it and I believe in it above this price point. If it goes down and I'm now down $1,000, I'm down $1,000, but I'm not going to give up on that play because my strategy was to, or what I see within it, it has a lot more success than where it is, and the full story hasn't been, um, accomplished yet, right? Or lived out. But like for one example, I have a position API 3. API 3 I think is down by, like, for me, like $2,000. Let me go to my API 3. It's down like $2,000. Where is it? API 3 is down $2,736. Now, I think that this is going to have a decent amount of success. It had um, a little bit of hype. We've seen it make a little bit of moves, and I was actually up quite a bit on this for a short period of time. My cost basis was 2 cents. It was at $2, but it was at $2.78. I was up on it a decent amount, and then it came down, and it was down to 58 cents. I could have averaged into it, and I probably should have, and I could still average into it right now at 75 cents. um, but the point is that I'm down on this play. I believe in this play because I see what it can be and what it will be. So that's why I'm letting it live out its story, right? That's my strategy. And if you've invested into something and you've done the same thing where you believed in this, you've researched it, you have a strong feeling that it's going to be worth a lot more in the next 2 to 3 years, you don't give up on it just because it's down $2,000. um, so, but then sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you are wrong, and but the point is that you let it live out its story and give it the potential, give it that chance, the opportunity to succeed. Because some people will cut it off at the knees. I've had other plays. I'm trying to think. Let me go back here really quick. I've other plays like Swift Coin. Swift Coin, many people believed was just not going to get to a level of 1 cent again, was not going to rise, was not going to make money at all. But this play did, right? I invested at 59% of a penny. It currently is at 1.1 cents, 1.2 cents. But what you don't know about my Swift Coin is that I've already taken my initial investment from this as it hit the higher level, right? If I go back a year, as it hit the higher level of 4.7 cents, I took my initial investment and still have $509,000 in there. And now I can see and let this live its full story, like fully, because I already have my initial investment. Everything else is gravy. So find a way to do that. Mm, 20. Absolutely not. Relax, dude. Um, Hi, Matt. Any thoughts on Kronos chain, especially? Mary, thank you. I have no thoughts on, like, um, things that are created on Kronos chain or meme coins in any light. Um, Obviously, I have stronger thoughts on Kronos itself. So yeah, I don't know how to answer that, but Kronos chain I think will have some success. Has already seen some major success, but I think Kronos itself will just have more success. I'm a bigger fan of Chronos than anything that's created on Chronos chain, if that makes sense. I know. Will Jasmy currency be among 100 coins that will be paid the payment company and PayPal? I don't know. Jasmy coins sell. Should you sell it? I mean, I don't think you should. I'm not selling my Jasmy coin, especially not at this moment. But that's totally up to you, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you feel like you should move it somewhere else, then go about your day, moving it to a different place. Um, I'm not gonna talk you out of it. I like Jasmy coin. I still see success in Jasmy coin. I still hold 1 million Jasmy coins, so it's not something that I'm giving up on. Did you give up on Loopring? No, I still have Loopring as well. Let me go to my portfolio. I still have Loopring, and I talked about it more recently in some videos. But I currently have 20,282, and I'm down about $1,000. But I think Loopring will have more success. I was up a large amount because currently it sits at 8 cents, 9 cents. I was up a large amount here, 126%. Um, and I can't say that I was just like, oh, I was happy. I'm still happy with what Loopring can do and the potential, the opportunity, right? That's what I'm looking at most. So no, I didn't give up on Loopring. I still have it. $150,000 on XRP. Wow, thanks, Matt. I took some profits at $3.50. Will invest at $3. Okay. I'll tell you what, timing the market is a lot more difficult than time in the market, but if you can effectively do it, um, then I applaud you, and that's always a great skill to have because if you can get out at 350, invest back in at $3, you are making your life a lot easier. It's just when you see those positions or when you see that happen, if you're in a trend to where you are buying low and selling high, and great. But once you get into that change to where you're buying high and selling low, like you're like, oh, it's at $3, I'm gonna buy again, but then it starts to tank, and then you decide, oh, you know what, I better get out of this because it's gonna tank down to $2. So then you get out of it, but it ends up rising back to $3.50, and that's where you get into a situation where now you're buying high and selling low. So be very careful. It only takes one mistake to get you completely turned over. Keen to hear what you are doing with Loopring after watching your last video on it. Is it worth getting out of? Um, I think it still has value. I think it still has a lot of value we haven't seen yet when it comes to um, this altcoin season, this bull run that we haven't seen fully mature yet. So I think there's value in it and that you can receive from it as we do see altcoin season happen, and you could take your profits as you see it move along. Um, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I don't remember the last time that I created a video for it. I know it was more recent, maybe in the last like 2 months. But I like Loopring. XRP will not make. XRP will not make it in this cycle. What does that even mean? Perry will go broke listening to all of Brad's lies. XRP will never pass. Are you the same person? I feel like this is the same person. XRP will never pass Ethereum, but XRP will be passed by a lot of other coins. That's great to hear. I'm glad you think so positively of XRP. If XRP hits $10 with 59 billion supply, its market cap would be about 590 billion, surpassing Ethereum. This would need a major adoption or a supply cut. Why? XRP will be worth trillions of dollars. I don't know if people understand that. It's going to be worth trillions of dollars. So getting to trillions of dollars is not the problem. It's just how many trillions is it going to get to, right? um, if we look at XRP, it has more adoption and more acceptance than an Ethereum. So it can surpass Ethereum. However, it's not confirmed that at that market cap, 590 billion, that it would surpass Ethereum, because Ethereum may be worth, I think, should be worth over $1 trillion as well. So it's going to be a battle to pass Ethereum. It's going to pass Ethereum, but then it's going to be even more of a battle to pass Bitcoin. And that may be something that happens in the next bull run, possibly. When you see more and more acceptance for XRP in general, for Ripple. But again, this is my opinion. It's great to hear everybody's opinion. If you feel as though $590 billion is too much for XRP, that currently is worth $200 billion, like I don't know. In crypto, it doesn't matter if you are a good guy. If you caught on the scam, nobody's scamming anybody. There's no scam there whatsoever. when you think about the history of America, you think about the history of the United States of America, right? Um, all they want is kind of control in a way, and I feel like, and not saying control over everybody, but control over the, um, I would say, the acceptance of currencies. If you think about the most accepted currency in the world, the U.S. dollar is that it's accepted everywhere, pretty much everywhere, right? And you don't necessarily have to convert in order to accept that money because it's valuable, right? The same thing could go for cryptocurrency, right, where XRP is accepted everywhere. Um, and Bitcoin could be accepted everywhere, but what would you rather use? Something that's fast, efficient, and secure and cheap, or something that's going to take a long time, it may be expensive, and definitely still secure, but going to take more time, and that is going to cost you a little bit more. I would rather go with that first option, where it's going to be a little bit cheaper, it's going to be faster, people will get their money immediately, and that's kind of what XRP would do. However, or sorry, not however, but you also look at Ripple, and it's an American company, right? Um, that created XRP. So it's kind of all tying together to where it would make sense that XRP kind of leads that digital side of things, and to be able to utilize XRP in other countries, utilize XRP in communication to other countries, in transfers to other countries, transfers to other banks, and transfers from person to person, business to business, business to person, all of that stuff, right? So there's, in my opinion, there's no scam there. There's the offering of coins, just like the US does when they offer, or not offer, but they introduce more money into circulation, introduce more dollars into circulation, raising the debt. Now for XRP, you can only do it to a certain extent, and then there will be no more inflation to that, and it could be potentially all dilution, um, or not dilution. Yeah, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but decreasing of the supply as you see natural burns that are associated with it, a natural deflationary aspect to it. So we'll see. We will see. Somebody has to be wrong in this case, and if I'm wrong, if I don't see if I'm wrong, it will not be because XRP will collapse. The only reason I will be wrong is if XRP is not going to be heavily utilized in the ways that we all believe that's going to be utilized. However, it still will have a ton of value. XRP will always have a lot of value. If I'm wrong, we will still profit a lot. But if I'm right, we will profit a ton. Let's say that. No, man, I'm not saying that XRP will be worth XRP will be worth a lot. The demand for XRP will drive the price up despite the market cap. I am an XRP addict. I believe in it. I made significant gains with this token. So wait, I'm not understanding. Am I reading that wrong? So you're basically saying that you believe that the adoption. Wait, this would need major adoption or a supply cut. The adoption is here. So you're saying that it would need major adoption, and the adoption is already here. So we are going to see the way that I guess read it. I may have taken it the wrong way because I kind of was reading Baby Norwal's stuff, um, which again might be another meme coin that they're looking to push or talk about just to see that grow. I don't know, but yeah, I guess I took that wrong. I apologize if that's the case. Folks sleeping on Jasmy coin. I agree. I think they are. Um, all right. So it looks like we hit a 1 hour and a half mark, and I think we'll have some other videos that come up. But I have to go drop off um, Hayden at school at some point. Um, I have to get her up, get her dressed, and all that stuff, and drop her off at daycare so that she can learn a bunch before she goes to kindergarten uh, next month. So I'm excited for that, but I also want her. I want to make sure that she's prepared for it and not behind the rest of the class. So, ooh, I gotta stretch. So I gotta take her to take care. I appreciate everybody that was here. Let me stretch real quick. Oh, I appreciate everybody that was here that was talking about XRP. I don't care if you guys are here to talk negatively about things. I just appreciate the conversation. Obviously, I don't want anybody to attack anyone's character or who they are and say that they're dumb or that they'll never accomplish anything or that they will lose all of their money. I don't want you guys to say that. I don't want that to be true as well. Um, Stargazer, thank you for being here, by the way. Appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I got to get out of here. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to trade cryptocurrency and leverage trade cryptocurrency, I have a link um, for BTCC in the chat as well as in the description. You guys can trade all the way up to a 500x leverage if you want to. I really do want to maybe continue just live stream for a longer period of time. I would love to, but I don't have the ability to do that at this moment. So my journey with you started at 96,000 followers. I've learned a lot listening to you. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I must have just misread what you were what you were saying, just because of the surrounding comments that were kind of insanely negative towards XRP. So I must have read it differently, kind of like when you read a text and you read it the wrong way and you think that they're insulting you or something. No, they're not. But yeah, I appreciate you. I just pulled out 5K loan. What would you load up right now, Matt? You just pulled out a 5K loan. What would you load up on right now? I would load up on putting that 5K back where it came from. Don't take out a loan to invest in the cryptocurrency. Don't take out a loan to invest into anything. I'd put it right back. Like I understand that is a gambling mindset to take something out of something and basically say I'll pay per month until this explodes. Like what if it doesn't? Now you're paying for a year. Just don't put it in anything and just put the money back. All right. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely check out the link for BTCC down below. And I know during the school year, we will definitely live stream a lot more. When the kids are off at school, we have to live stream a lot more. We have to put out a lot more content. I would love to continue to do that. We'll figure something out because I've been a little bit distant lately, and I want to continue to talk about things and also be involved in a lot of these things. So, anyways, hit that like button.